Hello there, all of you wonderful people. I am Ben the Bold, and welcome back to a brand new playthrough. And that's right, we are going to be playing as Carthage. This is what I'm calling my Hannibal at the Gates campaign, where my overall goal is to expand as Carthage, yes, build up that naval trade, yes, expand in Iberia, yes, but also leave Rome alone. I want to see if Rome can develop on their own, using the new mission system, into a powerful late-game boss for me to try to take down, and indeed, hopefully, sack Rome, hence the name of the series, Hannibal at the Gates. Now, for some of you who maybe have followed my channel a little closer than others, you'll note that I had already started a Carthaginian campaign in the brand new Livy update. That's right, we are playing in the Livy update. It did just come out yesterday, and I recorded several episodes of that Carthaginian playthrough yesterday. However, when I went today to load up that save game and play again, it didn't work. It had reverted back to an earlier save. I don't really know what happened. It was in Ironman mode, but it seems that I'm thinking the hot fix that came out overnight for me here in the US, I think it just messed up something with that save. So here I am, starting over one more time. We are Carthage, and as I said, we are playing in the new Livy update, so that means we have some new buttons and new stuff to play with. So first of all, I just want to introduce us to our mission system. It's probably what I'm most excited about playing with in this specific campaign. Not necessarily the whole patch, but at least as far as the Carthaginian specific campaign goes, this is what I'm interested in the most. We are also playing with the new Punic Wars DLC, of course, and that's why I wanted to fight. I wanted to be Carthage. I wanted to fight in the Punic Wars. After all, Punic just means Carthaginian, right? So, the way I've done... Okay, so I actually had different missions when I loaded the game up last time, because the one I did was called Pearl of Africa, and it focused mostly on just increasing the prosperity of the African region. Our map modes are now in this new drop-down menu. If I want to go to all of them, I want to show the region map mode. And so, yeah, so the African region. And it was a fine mission, I guess. It had me focusing on building up some food supplies, building up some cities, building up some marketplaces in my cities and some forums. But it wasn't necessarily the most exciting of missions to play through. I'm not saying that it wasn't good, I'm just saying that I kind of wanted to go conquer something. After all, there are some new warfare mechanics that I wanted to try out. So it actually appears that we have 3 new missions. So let's go ahead and take a look at these while we have a chance. So we have an end to Sicilian warfare. Sicily has long been a battleground between different Greek factions, particularly the people of Syracuse and ourselves. It has been a drain on our resources and pushes us to the brink of destruction, and has pushed us to the brink of destruction in the past. Most recently, under the warmonger Agathocles, it is time to put an end to these petty wars and finally annex the island once and for all. So basically, the completion criteria is the mission will be considered complete when we have annexed the entire island of Sicily. Now, the island of Sicily does hold a special place in my heart. I have recently finished a Tall Sicily campaign where I did not expand outside of the island of Sicily in the entire campaign. Well, with the exception of the last couple months of the campaign, where just despite the Carthaginians who had been a thorn in my side the entire playthrough, I went ahead and took Hall of the province of Carthage. If you want to see that campaign, please by all means check it out. Hit it up with that like button, and yeah. All right, so. But I don't necessarily think I want to go this route for this campaign, and here's why. I want Rome to push into Sicily. I want Sicily. I wouldn't mind capturing maybe a couple more territories, maybe the rest of this province, but I would prefer it if although it actually looks like they are my allies or my vassals anyway. So I actually don't think I'm going to try to expand too much in Sicily. I want to see if Rome will do that instead. I would like Sicily to be really the fire starter that starts the Punic conflicts. We'll see what happens. We'll see how these Roman missions actually do, of course. So let's go ahead and check the next one. We have Aftermath of the Revolution. So I actually did have this one in my kind of failed start Carthage campaign as well. After our disastrous war against Agathocles in Sicily, the traitorous Suffete Bomilcar tried to sell our lands to gain tyrannical power for himself. Many were led astray by his ideas and plans, and even though they were pardoned, there are still conflicts and disagreements lingering all across our nation. So this mission will be considered complete when the lingering conflicts from Bomilcar's resolution have resolved. Interesting, interesting. I don't know too much about Bomilcar's revolution. I'm assuming that was an actual historic event. If anyone can link me to a good source, I would love to read about it. I guess I could also, of course, just use that Google. And then we have, finally, the Aegees of Africa. As our trade empire expands with more and more colonies and ports abroad, our ambitions in Africa have withered. We must secure our footing at home, protect our backs from uprisings and raids by unruly tribes before we can once again turn our gaze across the sea. So, this mission will be considered complete when Western North Africa is subjugated or conquered. This is the one I want. I think this one could be cool. But I think I want this one because it's the Aegees of Africa, or the Ages of Africa, because, well, I want to go ahead and put Africa under the Carthaginian boot. I want it to be completely controlled. So let's go ahead and take that mission and start mission. Basically, that's going to... Actually, let's check out what all of these would give us. So that one we actually don't have anything. But here, this mission, we will get... until the end of the game. Okay, integration speed plus 0.2, subject opinion of us plus 20. So this is a way to consolidate a lot of our power. I'm not necessarily sure if that's the best way to go. I like having all these little feudatories, but let's go ahead and do it. Right away, we can, because Massilia is a subject of Carthage, right away we can go ahead and take the Mutiny of the Berbers. This task will take 365 days to complete, and rewards for completing the task will result in a war between Massilia and Carthage. Carthage gains Massilian tamed. Okay. So basically, they're going to go to war with us, and they are currently one of my... Alright, so they're one of my tribal vassals, right? Okay, well... I guess I could fight them. You know what? Let's go ahead and take that mission. So in 365 days, we're going to go to war with our own people, basically. So we're going to have to build up our army somewhat. Very good. What other missions do we have? So we have a Tale of Four Cities, basically... Okay, so basically we just need to start annexing all of these cities. And if we do that, I have a feeling they're like all of these things. Like... Will it show us if I, like, zoom out far enough? Okay, yeah, so those cities down there. Alright, so that one is going to be one that I'm definitely going to work on. We'll probably go ahead and start, like, improving our opinion with all of them. And we will get commerce value plus 10% for, looks like 20 years whenever we finish that mission. What about you? So integrate the... Musalamni. Alright, so I'm really glad I went with this mission. I think it's a fun mission to start out with because it right away gives me a chance to start integrating and turning the North African coast green, which, you know, I definitely want to do. I think green is a nice little color for the North African coast to be, instead of all these ugly, you know, blues and reds and purples and pinks. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that mission so far. There was one more that I wanted to look at, the Mazzillian menace. So basically one of the following must be true. They are either a subject of Carthage, which they currently are not. All of the following area is... Alright, so we have to start owning some areas, I guess. Is there a difference between an area and a province or a region? If I zoom out, will it show me? Oh, okay, over here. So basically I just have to own all of that. Well... I will surely get there eventually, right? We will... Alright, so it looks like early on we are actually going to focus on conquering North Africa. Now, that's not to say that eventually I won't come in here and try to conquer Corsica and Sardinia as well, but for now, we need to focus on North Africa. So, let's go ahead and talk about... Well, first, let's finish up kind of going through these notifications. We definitely need some new idea slots. I'm actually going to go with martial ethos as well as ordered retreat. Well, it sounds like we're going to be fighting on land. reinforced speed up is good. Army morale is important. And I think that those are both just better than permanent shipyards, because that's just shipbuilding cost minus 25%, which is great, I guess, but usually I have so much money that I just don't know what to deal with it by the, just not even the end game, especially as a big country, just a few decades in. And then this one, we need it to be an oratory idea. I personally always like to usually start out with military administration, especially because as Carthage, we really start to stack those monthly loyalty bonuses for generals and admirals, because we get military administration, plus now we get 0.02 for monthly loyalty for all characters. And I believe there was another stacking as well. The Carthaginian heritage? No. It's not our military heritage. Maybe it was an invention early on that gives me additional loyalty with my generals and admirals. Let's go ahead and look at our omens. I think I'm going to go ahead and just start out with national citizen output. Citizen output is good. Something that I noticed that they have done is now if I hover over like the tribesmen, for instance, you'll notice that up here, what the pops affect is now highlighted. So that's kind of a cool, easy way for them to show that, like, hey, slaves, that's going to increase your tax rate in that province. So if you want to make a bunch of money, you want to have a bunch of slaves. Tribesmen, they increase your tax rate as well as your manpower, of course, not by a ton. Freemen increases your manpower, and citizens increase both commerce and research points. So having a lot of citizens is a good thing. I think I'm going to pass on inventions right away and instead look towards establishing some trade routes. So one thing that I have really, really liked that they did is incorporating these like networks of trade. So now I love big arrows pointing on maps. I mentioned in my previous Carthage run, which had only gone for about a couple years, honestly, that I thought that this was a perfect way to test out maybe some trading features for a new game that maybe we'll see Paradox is working on, i.e. Victoria 3. I think I'm going to go with gemstones. It's going to increase my local tax. I think that'll be enough for now. I'm going to be looking to kind of constantly be making Carthage a bigger trading city and just a better city in general. I also will probably build a couple of libraries early on, and then I'm going to, I know that in the past, especially for like my Sicily campaign, I would just build library and forums, library and forums, library and forums. But now there's a new building that might start to take some of the spotlight from the libraries and the forums, and that is the foundries. Notice it gives me starting experience up, which is fine and good, but also population output. So for every 10 foundries I have, that means my pops in that that city are going to be 10% better. They're going to output 10% more things, which is great. I definitely like that change. I definitely plan on starting to stack a bunch of foundries together, and that actually might make it kind of worth it to start stacking, if I'm stacking a bunch of foundries and I can make each citizen more productive, well then maybe getting some of these increases for like local tax, or hey, that's going to help with the research points from the forums. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting thing to add to this campaign, this playthrough. Alright, I think we are finally ready to, I'm going to look at the inventions, and I think right away I want to grab just 2 inventions, and I'm going to go with national tax rate as well as supply limit. Now, I went with national tax rate because early on in the game I'm still making a little bit more money from taxes. But of course, as those trade offers start to come in, which... Where's my trade? It's the one I never use. Trade overview, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and automatic trade acceptance, but we are going to block surpluses. That's going to automatically accept little nations' trade deals as long as it's not trading away food. If it is trading away food, then it still pops up. And it's like, hey, do you still want to trade away your food? Usually, well, for Carthage, I think, especially early in the game, that's going to be okay. But once we start getting a ton of pops, we'll have to start thinking about different things to do with our food. So we have 2 armies. I'm going to go ahead and put both of them, it seems, on the border with Massilia. How about you go to here, and you go to here. Alright, so that's going to be where we start out. I will have to put some people in charge of those armies, but not yet. Another thing that I'm really excited about, okay, so the Ages of Africa. As our trade empire expands with more and more colonies and ports abroad, our ambitions in Africa have withered. We must secure our footing at home, protecting our backs from uprisings and raids by unruly tribes before we can once again turn our gaze across the sea. So let us go ahead and get Africa and get it in a hurry. So I'm actually going to spend a little bit of our political influence. We need to go ahead and start to improve opinions with our subjects. Military insurrection. Uh-oh. Oh, we could lose 10,000. But we... Alright, you know what? He's just going to lose some popularity. We should start... Yeah, so we are going to make them happy. We should be able to start annexing some of our loyal vassals pretty quickly. And of course, that will all help us finish these missions faster. It looks like we do need to go ahead and hire some generals. I think I'm going to pass on you because I don't love the fact that you're loyal to the populist faction. You are not a noble family, so I'll go ahead and put you in charge. I really like what they've done to the noble families, or the influential families, and I guess I'll put you in charge as well. I am also going to go ahead, and before I forget, going to purchase a supply train for each of these armies. I can definitely... So, supply trains are expensive. They are one of the more expensive things you can get aside from heavy infantry. They can really start to add up in how much food they or how much they cost, but I think it's good to have one per army. I'm also going to go ahead and build a bunch of slingers, and I know that right now I'm building pretty trash armies except for the elephants. You know what? I'll build another elephant here, as well as a bunch more slingers. But I also don't expect you to have a ton of troops, first of all, or a ton of heavy infantry. And it's kind of the supply wagons that are going to win me these wars, especially in the... These are pretty high attrition areas, right? They're just plains, so maybe they're not deserts. Alright, so it looks like we have some of their tribesmen moving to Carthage. Okay. They'll lose 20 opinion of us. I don't have another option. Again, currently I'm just spending my political influence on trying to make my little subject states a little happier. I might actually go ahead and change my diplomatic stance. Well, I can't right now because I don't have enough, but move it to the domineering stance. That helps my integration speed. It also helps the loyalty of subjects. And it improves their subject opinion of us. Now, you are not actually suffering attrition. Why it says I'm eating is because I am taking food away from this province. But, and as you can see, it's taking down quite rapidly. But a big part of that is the fact that I am resupplying this army, right? We will be ready. Yep, so it looks like they are migrating into my territory, and I am saying, that's fine. Go ahead, migrate. But it's not making them super happy, so they will declare war with us in, well, just a little while. We have built up our armies. We should be good to go. We do have these elephants that need to be finished, but besides that, we are going to be in good shape. Let's check it out what we're doing from the economy. We are still making plenty of money. So that's good. I still haven't put anyone in charge of my navies. My navies are going to, I guess, stay at port through this first war, which is fine by me. One thing I will say, I'm loving the Livy update so far. Have actually really enjoyed the changes they've made to things like families and characters. Oh, we have another event. A messenger arrives. Their forces have been spotted raiding our towns and villages. It seems as if the Mazzillians have shown their true colors. They have no loyalty to Carthage and have unsurprisingly declared war upon us after a minimum of baiting. Marbal Gerbalid stands up and addresses the Senate. We shall gather our might and crush them beneath our heel. They will know their place before the end. Alright, so they declare war on Carthage, which means we are the defender. Awesome. Carthage gains claims on all of their lands. Perfect. We are at war. They were rather silly and decided to invade us when we had all of those feudatories. Let's go ahead and just jump in, immediately start taking some of their territory. We should outnumber them. Yeah, we outnumber them quite heavily. They are at war with so many people. Not super worried about this fight. We just have to take the land. Looks like I can get another trade route. Let's go ahead and trade wood. I think it's good because of the local tax, of course, but also so that we can build a little bit bigger boats in Carthage, which Carthage was historically famous for its navy, so I don't see a reason why not to try to build a strong navy. I believe we start out with one of the stronger navies in the game. We definitely start out with the strongest navy in the Western Mediterranean. Unfortunately, we are not, even though we have a pretty high enslavement efficiency, well, I guess 13% is pretty decent. We are just killing these pops instead of actually capturing them. Hopefully that will change. We should also keep an eye on our army's food situation. It currently only has 51 of 82 food, and is not in a place where it can resupply. It's still not in a place that can resupply. So we're having to... I love the food changes. I like the fact that you now have to kind of campaign and then resupply. And you can only resupply in an enemy province if you own their province capital, right? Although it seems like oh, no, I don't own their province capital. But if I were to go and, for instance, take their province capital, I believe, then I would have a chance to... Alright, so, I'll go ahead and make the Punic slave into freeman. That's fine. It's going to cost me a little bit of loyalty with the Barkid family, but that's fine. They are taking some territory. I want to watch out for that. I don't have any forts here. I probably should build some forts. But now I'm going to siege down the province capital of this province. And yes, and so now I'm actually able to get food. So about 4.99 per month from this province. So I like that. You have to kind of campaign, you know, it's all of a sudden province capitals become so much more important in a war. Because, well, if they want to just run around your countryside, but don't ever take any of your province capitals, for instance, if you had forts on all of those, well, then eventually they would just be attritioned out. And then, so, and I've been saying this for a while, I'm really excited to see if there is now the ability to, and a reason to, like, build several fort levels, and I mean, like, 2 or 3, maybe even 4 fort levels, so you have just a super strong fort that... Ooh, you're almost out of food. But you have a super strong fort that they could put a whole army on, and it would have to be a rather large army, which would mean they would have to bring a lot of supplies, a lot of food to supply it. Otherwise, they could lose a huge army trying to siege down a war, because the attrition you take when you run out of food is absolutely brutal. I think it's like, what, 5%? Which is, that's a pretty hefty little attrition number there. Speaking of food, we could go ahead. We're making decent-ish money. I think I'm going to go ahead and build a library. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and build a foundry in Carthage as well. Those will go ahead and start convert. The library will help convert pops to citizens, which is what I want in Carthage. and the foundry will just make them a little bit more efficient. I also will definitely want to build some forums still because, well, that just helps pops promote faster. Also, if I'm taking a bunch of slaves, which I probably will be because I tend to always do in these campaigns, I'll probably want to make sure that those slaves are of my culture and religion, so I'll need to build some temples and theaters as well. So yeah, we're gonna run out of food in about, what, a year? But I think we'll probably siege down the province before then. We could also go ahead and just assault the fort. We might lose a bunch of men, but I think at this point there's no real reason to do that because, well, we're just in good shape. We're 42% of the way there. We're gonna win that siege eventually. We'll be fine. We will be fine. Anyway, as I was saying about the characters, I really like the way that they're handling the families now. I just got to the point where I just flat out did not care at all about any of the characters that... Ooh, and look at their city burn! That is a super cool addition to the map mode, or to the map. The fact that we now, when we take a city in a big siege like that, we can burn it to the ground and it shows up on the map. Oh, that's so fun. I mean, it's terrible for all those poor people, but it is pretty fun. It's fun to see that you can just leave fires and leave a burning wake through an opponent's territory. So again, I feel like having some supply wagons really helped us out here. We are about to full annex them, and we will already, boom, be that much closer to controlling all of Africa. We'll also be able to hit one of those buttons, I believe. Looks like we have some pirate issues, but hey, pirates are a thing that happen in this game, and I don't really care too much to stop them. Let's go ahead and see if we can just take everything in a peace deal. Yeah, and it looks like they will go ahead and just give me everything that I want. I'm going to go ahead and hit the OK button, and just like that, we have destroyed the Mazzillian people. Well, we've incorporated them into the great empire or republic of Carthage. I'm going to go ahead and move this army a little bit to a more central location. How about you over here? And yes, so now let's take a look. Where are we in our missions? So we now need to turn Thessa into a city that has a population of greater than 10. So let's look at where Thessa is. It is highlighted on the map right there. Alright, so we will be looking to, I guess that's not Thessa, it's Tebessa. We will be looking to civilize the city, this area a little bit, and turn Tebessa into a city. Of course, we are going to need 200 gold and 50 political influence for that, so we're a little ways away from that, but hopefully very soon. We do have a low food supply in one of our provinces. Let's see which province that is. It's you, but you are actually gaining food every month, so I'm really not worried about it. We should look at the newly conquered territory. What region is that territory in, by the way? Alright, so that is in the Numidian region. So let's take a look at, I guess, the province map mode. See. Alright, so we have, our governor is trying to culturally assimilate the population. Alright, I'm on board with that. Good job, governor. And in fact, we could probably do that here as well. Is there a city in this province? Yeah, right here. And I'm just going to go ahead, I like it when my cities are my province capitals, so let's go ahead and just do that. It's going to cost me a little bit of political influence, but we have enough. And in this city, I feel like having a fortress on province capitals is so much more important now, so let's go ahead and put a fortress on that province capital. Is this a city as well? Perfect. So we have actually 2 cities in this place. Perfect. Alright, so we could have 4 tribesmen move from our territory to the Ibernian territory of Achis. I'm going to say we have no need for their type, mostly because I just want all that gold. I want that wonderful gold. And all that wonderful gold will allow us to go ahead and come down here and turn Tebessa into a city. Now, of course, we also need to move some pops to Tebessa, because it needs a total population of 10 before we can hit the next thing in this mission. We are also slowly but surely working to incorporate our kind of little allies down here. Actually, how close are we to some of you? We're close. I'm going to go ahead and change from the mercantile state. Oh, I don't have the political influence yet. Oh well. While I have the cash, while I'm currently flush with cash and making plenty of money, I'm going to go ahead and drill both my armies. You're not losing food, are you? No, good. So I'm going to drill both my armies. Just a side note, I really like the drilling animations that they have now. The fact that my little soldier guy now actually like fights someone instead of just like meanders around by himself. That's pretty cool. I really like that. I'm going to go ahead and send $8 your way to increase your opinion of me, because I am going to integrate you. No, I can't, because people in the Senate don't want me to yet. Well, that's a shame. We are trying to be great. Ooh, a feast for Milky Yachten. Residents of Quirton are holding a celebration in honor of their much-loved governor. Good for him. You know what? Of course, on with the celebrations. Good for him. Alright, so it appears that the Senate will disagree with our integration, and that's because only 37 of our, well, now only 36 of our senators are for this action, while we need at least 40 to be able to go through it. Well, that is a great way to segue into something that I have been excited to play with in the new patch. It's not necessarily a new feature, but I haven't really done a ton of playthroughs with republics. I know Rome is a republic. Man, we have a bunch of populous people in power. You know what that problem could be? No, I thought maybe for sure it was because you were a populist, but you're not. So we have a ton of populists in power. I don't really want a populist leader. Let's go ahead and put you in charge. Let's get our populace out of the positions of power so that they won't gain as much influence. Well, I don't really... Can I hire a Hannibal? Yeah, so I'll hire another Hannibal for you. Unfortunately, we probably didn't check that early enough. It's going to be difficult to... I'm going to... endorse the mercantile faction? No. Who's the next highest? So it looks like the mercantile faction. I like the mercantile faction, want them to be in good standing anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and endorse the mercantile faction. That will move more of those pops out of the or more of those Senate seats out of the populist region. I still can't integrate. Can I integrate you, though? Yes, I can. So I'm going to gain some tyranny for that. That's alright. But now I can actually integrate. I do have to deal with the Scorned family. Basically, the Hannadids want a job. Well, that's okay. I have jobs to give, including one is the head of our navy. And you are you are part of the mercantile faction. I will put you in charge of some boats. And now you are no longer Scorned. Good for you. So, we have steadily grown Carthage. I'm excited to see the North African coast gleam green with Carthaginian influence. We will eventually push our way into Iberia. I'm really excited about whatever mission will probably move me towards Iberia in the coming episodes. And we are going to let Rome just kind of chill and do its own thing. And we are going to hope that Rome becomes a very, very strong, very, very powerful adversary that we can maybe try to defeat as the game goes on. But here we are, almost exactly 5 years into the game, which I think is a great time. Ooh, we just got a notification that we have a bad research ratio. Well, we'll have to fix that in the next episode, because I think exactly 5 years into the game right now is a pretty decent time to wrap up. So, I hope you're enjoying the series. I'm sorry that I'm unable to complete the earlier Carthage campaign that I started making episodes for yesterday. I don't really know what happened with the save game. It's just when I loaded it up, all of that progress that I had made had been wiped out, and every time I pressed the load button, it just went back to the start date. I hope that doesn't happen again. I think it was because of the hotfix that they put out, but I honestly don't know. So, with that said, I hope you join me on this journey, as we are the Carthaginian people. This is Hannibal at the gates. I hope you're having a great day. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like the videos I make, hey, why don't you hit that subscribe button and see where this series goes. I will catch you on the next one.